When Japan threatened Australia's doorstep in 1942, the nation had almost no armour to defend itself. What followed was a desperate scramble of improvisation, adaptation, and sheer bloody-mindedness. Here's what that panic built, and what those machines would cost today. Let's begin with the museum relics pressed back into service. Vickers Medium Mark II. The Vickers Medium Mark II represented Australia's entire tank force in 1939. Exactly one operational example. This 1920s relic with riveted armour and a 3-pounder gun was obsolete before Hitler invaded Poland. Today's value for a runner? Easily $2 million, assuming you could find one intact. Sentinel AC-1. Australia's homegrown answer to isolation, the Sentinel AC-1 married American components with local ingenuity and a distinctive cast hull. 66 were built at Chullora tank assembly shops, but not one fired a shot in anger. Survivors command $3 to $5 million at auction. National treasures of wartime manufacturing. Ambition. Sentinel AC-3. The Sentinel AC-3 mounted a 25-pounder gun howitzer in a larger turret, creating Australia's most powerful indigenous design. Only one prototype existed, making its theoretical value incalculable to collectors. It proved the concept could evolve, but America's armour arrived first. Sentinel AC-4. The Sentinel AC-4 represented the ultimate expression, a 17-pounder gun crammed into modified geometry. This single prototype never left the testing grounds, yet embodies what Australian engineering could achieve under pressure. Continuing with the improvised reconnaissance vehicles. Dingo Scout Car. Britain's nimble Dingo Scout Car received Australian modifications for tropical service, better ventilation, modified stowage, local radio sets. These four-wheeled scouts proved reliable in New Guinea's nightmare terrain. Restored examples fetch $400,000 today. Universal Carrier Mark I. The Universal Carrier Mark I became Australia's first real tracked mobility, arriving from British and Canadian factories by the hundreds. This open-topped Bren carrier could squeeze through jungle tracks impossible for wheeled vehicles. Market value ranges from $150,000 to $300,000 depending on condition. Marmon Herrington Armoured Car. Mark II. South Africa's Marmon Herrington Mark II served Australian reconnaissance squadrons in North Africa's vastness. Its 4-wheel drive and 2-pounder gun provided genuine combat capability, unlike earlier improvisations. Survivors are museum pieces worth $500,000 minimum. Marmon Herrington Armoured Car, Mark III. The Mark III variant added a turret with better traverse and improved armour layout. Australian crews appreciated its mechanical reliability in desert conditions where breakdowns meant death. Armoured Staff Cars. Dozens of civilian automobiles received field-expedient armour plating, steel sheets bolted to Fords and Chevrolets. These desperate conversions offered psychological comfort more than ballistic protection. Any surviving example would command collector premiums exceeding $100,000 for sheer novelty. But Australia couldn't win the Pacific with improvised armour alone. Enter the British Empire's steel lifeline. Churchill sent what Britain could spare from its own desperate Jan Hsien. These Lend-Lease machines became Australia's armoured backbone in the Jungle War, reliable, brutally simple, and available. Here's what that Imperial lifeline delivered. Leading the charge was the infantry tank that defined Australian armoured warfare. Matilda II infantry tank. The Matilda II became Australia's armoured fist in the Pacific, its thick hide impervious to Japanese anti-tank guns. Painfully slow at 15 miles per hour but damn near indestructible, it terrified enemy infantry at Boona and Milne Bay. Survivors fetch $1 million minimum, often double that for complete runners. Matilda Frog. The Matilda Frog married flame projector to proven chassis, creating a bunker-busting nightmare for Japanese fortifications. This specialized variant could shoot liquid fire 80 yards, cooking defenders in their pillboxes. Rarity makes valuation speculative. easily 2 million if one surfaced intact. Matilda Dozer. The Matilda Dozer sacrificed its turret for a bulldozer blade, becoming a combat engineer's dream. It carved tank paths through jungle and collapsed enemy bunkers under armor protection. Any example would command museum-level prices exceeding $800,000. Matilda Murray. The Matilda Murray pushed explosive-packed rollers ahead on extending arms, detonating mines before the tank arrived. This ungainly modification saved countless crew lives in mined approaches. Australian ingenuity transformed British iron into specialised tools. Next up were the lighter British tanks that served secondary roles. Valentine Infantry Tank. The Valentine Infantry Tank arrived too late for frontline Australian service but trained countless crews. Its reliable GMC diesel and cramped two-man turret made it a teaching platform rather than warrior. Market value sits around $400,000 for complete examples. Light Tank Mark VI. The Light Tank Mark VI was obsolete when it landed, a 1930s reconnaissance design with machine guns only. Several served in training roles where their mechanical simplicity outweighed combat inadequacy. Crusader Cruiser Tank. The Crusader Cruiser Tank saw limited Australian use, its speed wasted in jungle terrain requiring infantry support. British crews loved its mobility in North Africa. Australians found it maintenance-intensive and unnecessary, continuing with the workhorses of mobility. Universal Carrier Mark II. The Universal Carrier Mark II featured improved armour over earlier Marks and better suspension geometry. These tracked boxes transported Vickers guns, mortars, supplies and wounded through terrain that stopped wheeled vehicles. Cold. Restored examples range from $200,000 to $400,000. Humber Scout Car. The Humber Scout Car provided four-wheeled reconnaissance with decent protection and a Bren gun mount. Its low profile and mechanical reliability made it popular for liaison duties, where its speed mattered. Humber Armoured Car Mark IV. The Humber Armoured Car Mark IV mounted a credible 37mm gun in a proper turret with four-wheel drive. These heavy scouts patrolled rear areas and guarded convoys where Japanese infiltration remained constant threat. Survivors command $500,000 today. Daimler Armoured Car. The Daimler Armoured Car combined speed with a 2-pounder gun, creating genuine fighting capability. Its independent suspension handled rough roads better than competitors, earning crew affection despite maintenance demands. AEC Armoured Car. The AEC Armoured Car brought tank-level firepower to wheels, mounting variants from 6-pounder to 75mm guns. This British heavy Scout rarely served Australian units, but represented wheeled armour's upper limit. Reliable but slow, British armour held the line until American production kicked into gear with superior numbers and logistics. By 1943, American factories flooded Australia with armour that made British offerings look quaint, faster, deadlier, and built by the thousand. This was steel abundance on an industrial scale the world had never seen. Here's what Uncle Sam's production lines delivered. Leading the American invasion were the light tanks that crews nicknamed with affection. M3 Stuart. The M3 Stuart earned its honey nickname from British crews, and Australians inherited that affection for its reliability. This nimble light tank packed a 37mm gun and could actually keep pace with infantry advances. Restored examples command $300,000 to $700,000, depending on completeness. M5 Stuart. The M5 Stuart replaced the M3's aircraft engines with twin Cadillac V8s, creating the smoothest running light tank of the war. Its welded hull shed weight while maintaining protection, and mechanics blessed its automotive simplicity. Survivors fetch similar prices to earlier Stuarts, sometimes higher for the upgraded drivetrain. M3 Lee Medium Tank. The M3 Lee represented American desperation translated to steel, a 75mm gun in a hull sponson because turret casting wasn't ready. Tall, awkward, but available in numbers, it gave Australian crews their first taste of real firepower. Market value hovers around 400,000 for complete runners. Next up were the machines that would dominate Allied armor through war's end. M4 Sherman. The M4 Sherman became the people's tank. Not the best, but good enough and everywhere. Its 75mm gun, reliable drivetrain, and decent armor made it the workhorse Australia needed for island campaigns. Auction prices range wildly from 200,000 for Project Hulks to 600,000 for restored veterans. M4A1 Sherman. The M4A1 Sherman featured a distinctive cast hull with rounded contours instead of welded angles. This variant's one-piece casting simplified production while maintaining protection, though crews debated whether the smooth surfaces deflected shells better. M4A3 Sherman. The M4A3 Sherman mounted Ford's GAA V8, the most powerful and reliable engine fitted to any Sherman variant. Australian units receiving these late-war models appreciated the extra horsepower in jungle terrain where power-to-weight ratios determined mobility. Continuing with the American half-tracks that motorized infantry warfare. M3 half-track. The M3 half-track married truck mobility to tracked cross-country capability, creating the armored personnel carrier concept. Its open top left crews exposed to airbursts, but nothing else could deliver squads intact through hostile territory. Values range from $150,000 to $300,000. M8 Greyhound. The M8 Greyhound combined six-wheeled, speed with a 37mm gun in an open-top turret. This nimble armored car excelled at reconnaissance, where its turn of speed could escape trouble its armor couldn't stop. Survivors command $400,000 minimum for their graceful lines. M29 Weasel. The M29 Weasel was a tracked cargo carrier small enough to navigate jungle trails impossible for larger vehicles. Its aluminum construction saved weight, while its tracks distributed load across swamp ground that swallowed wheeled transport. LVT-1 Alligator. The LVT-1 Alligator pioneered amphibious assault, its boat hull and tracks enabling beach-to-inland mobility without pause. Australian troops used these ungainly machines in island campaigns where shorelines meant death without armoured protection. But tanks don't fight alone. Behind every armoured advance was an unglamorous supply tail that made victory possible. Unglamorous but essential. These recovery, transport and support vehicles kept Australia's armour rolling when breakdowns and battle damage would have left battalions stranded. Here's the supply tail that won campaigns. M31 Tank Recovery Vehicle. The M31 Tank Recovery Vehicle stripped a Sherman's turret for a crane and winch assembly capable of hauling disabled tanks from impossible positions. Its armoured protection let crews work under fire, salvaging knocked-out machines before enemy artillery zeroed the position. Survivors command $400,000 for their critical battlefield role. Scramble Pioneer. The Scramble Pioneer was Britain's tank transporter of choice, its massive frame hauling Matildas on low loaders across Australia's brutal distances. This six-wheeled giant saved track life and fuel, delivering armour fresh to battle rather than worn from road marches. Complete examples exceed $300,000 today. Diamond T Tank Transporter. The Diamond T Tank Transporter became America's answer, its massive flatbed trailer carrying Shermans wherever roads existed. Australian logistics battalions ran these trucks day and night, moving armour between campaigns faster than enemy intelligence could track. Ward-LaFrance Wrecker. The Ward-LaFrance Wrecker provided heavy recovery with its hydraulic boom and 50-ton winch capacity. These ungainly trucks appeared wherever armour fought, dragging casualties to field workshops that kept divisions mobile. Next up were the specialised fuel and ammunition carriers that fed hungry machines. Armoured fuel Bowsers. Armoured fuel Bowsers carried hundreds of gallons forward in steel-plated tankers, risking catastrophic fire to keep tanks supplied. Japanese infiltrators targeted these vulnerable vehicles, making their crews some of the war's bravest unsung heroes. Armoured ammunition carriers. Armored ammunition carriers transported shells and charges in protected compartments, accepting explosion risk as occupational hazard. Without these rolling magazines, tank battalions went silent after hours of combat. Armored command vehicles. Armored command vehicles housed radios and map tables behind armor plate, creating mobile headquarters that could advance with forward elements. These converted carriers let commanders direct battles from positions where unprotected staff would die, continuing with the artillery support equipment that positioned heavy guns. AEC Matador. The AEC Matador artillery tractor towed 25-pounders and heavier pieces across terrain that defeated conventional trucks. Its four-wheel drive and low gearing pulled guns through mud that stopped wheeled logistics cold. Market value sits around $150,000 for complete examples. M4 high-speed tractor. The M4 high-speed tractor used tracked mobility to position heavy artillery anywhere infantry could advance. These workhorses towed long-toms and anti-aircraft guns, their armoured cabs protecting crews from counter-battery fire. Wireless trucks. Wireless trucks bristled with antenna masts, maintaining communications nets that coordinated armour, artillery, and air support. Japanese radio direction finding made these vehicles priority targets requiring constant displacement. From desperate improvisation to American abundance, Australia fielded over 200 distinct armoured vehicle types in World War II. Total replacement cost today, north of $500 million, assuming you could find them all, which you absolutely cannot.